Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and on with the program.
Yo, 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 yo. Hello. I think it's working. Okay. All right, we're now gonna go live on the show. This is March 18th, 2026. It's now 8:24 p.m. and we are gonna start our program today. And on our program, we're gonna keep our eye on the sky because I don't really want to dive into anything ridiculous like politics or anything like that. That's not normally the things I look up when I play around on a computer. It's usually science or music, or just or animals. Actually, is probably what I watch the most, and maybe we'll talk about animals in the future. But first thing, speaking of animals, this particular animal, me, has to speak up for you guys a little bit. See if I can get a little bit louder for you guys for this show. Okay. All right. So we're going to get started with the top 5 stories in science according to Google. I just basically Googled science news today. And we're just going to follow up with a story about Ohio. I don't know if you guys were watching yesterday, but Ohio, they had a meteor explode on the 16th, I believe, or no, the day before that, or after, whatever. But it blew up, and now they realized that the meteor had meteorites going all over the place and landing. So um, that's where we are right now. We're going to talk about that real quick. And let's see what just happened. Thought I had everything queued up. Okay. All right. So on St. Patrick's Day morning, um, that's when the meteor blew up at like 9 in the morning. And then yesterday it was reported as like a 250-ton explosion, but now it's reporting as a 7-ton explosion. So that would explain why I didn't see it as of yesterday. I mean, not see it, but hear it. It's taken, all right, 7-ton asteroid caused sonic boom over Lake Erie. The meteor broke apart over the valley, and they've been finding stuff. So here soon, I'm sure. Here's the thing from NASA: a very bright daylight fireball was observed by witnesses from the northeast U.S. and Canada this morning, March 17th, as analysts of currently avail. Of analysts of currently available data places first visibility of the meteor above Lake Erie. The fireball caused a small asteroid nearby. So, when the asteroid crashed into Ohio or blew up, and now they're digging up parts. So we'll find out, I guess, more in the future about where that came from, and go from there. I don't know. And I guess the next thing we can talk about is which is coming up on March 20th, and that's basically NASA is rolling out the Artemis 2 moon rocket. It's going back to the launch pad, so it's going to lift off here soon. Officials are aiming at April 1st, which sounds like to me, sounds like they're joking with you. April 1st, really? Okay, all right then. But sure, there you go with the government. So it's going to go to launch pad March 20th, and then after that, they're going to start working on it and see what's up with it. You know, I guess to make sure to go for the Fool's Day launch. In other science news, we're going to do a little follow up on the solar flare, and that let's pull this up real quick on the solar flare. Basically, now this one's a report coming from Oregon, telling everybody to prepare that they're going to be able to see the aurora borealis light effects in the sky coming up still on the 19th. It's a solar cycle 25 is in the declining phase, but it doesn't mean that there will be no lights in the sky. So, yay for Oregon. They get to see, which, as I reported yesterday, Idaho is going to be able to see it too. So, the lower west and they say the lower east, as far as like New York. People could probably see these lights if they're out just right. So that would be pretty cool to see. I think would be pretty cool to see these lights. Um, and other science news. Let's talk about El Nino. It's kind of science weather, really, but with El Nino, we're looking at. I'm gonna close this real quick. I can always edit this out, I guess. Hold on, everybody. Got a little pause here. Something is blocking. See if we can put. All right. Well, at least we can get this on the top while we're waiting for that one thing to close. Um, I don't know much about the El Nino. Super El Nino is what they're calling it, like a bigger event than usual. You know, we don't know. Bring up the weather, as a matter of fact. Let's see if that will come up. Okay. So currently, right now, we're looking at 33 degrees where I am. And tomorrow, I can look forward to about 47-degree high. That's going to be pretty nice. But it's going to, tonight, looks pretty groomy, getting all the way down to 28 tonight. But looking forward to that 47 for a high tomorrow and clear. All right, let me bring that down to here. And I think the one thing closed, so we can get back to where we were, and we were reporting on the El Nino. So let's go to that, which is this one right here, and dismiss this. Super El Nino looms and Starlink hits 10,000 satellites in orbit. Okay, yay for Starlink. They got a lot of satellites out there. That's definitely science. But what is this about the Super El Nino? It's in the cards this summer that it could be a supercharged temperature to make the 2027 a contender for the hottest year on record. So it looks like we're getting ready to build up to start having some intense heat, which is pretty crazy because I thought we had a pretty extreme winter this year. So I guess kind of like equal and opposite reaction. It looks like we're going to swing really hard in the next year or two for some heat, which declare there is a 62% chance of natural climate patterns which will emerge between June and August, and a 1 in 3 likelihood that it will be especially strong. So we can look forward to heat. Now, hopefully, some people will help me out. The difference in the two with El Nino and El Nina, as far as which one produces more rain. I guess they both do, but this is something we can check out and hopefully prepare for. So everybody prepare for a hot summer and an even hotter summer. They said a record-breaking hot summer for 2027. So we're gonna look back on the timetable and the time pod and say, okay, well they said this. It's 2027. Well, is it cold or is it hot? We've got a record of it. All right, and all right, the last story. The last story for today that kind of caught my eye is the Ryugu asteroid, and the samples of this asteroid contains all 5 key components of DNA. That's what the scientists find. So I got to dismiss this again. A sample collected by the Hayabusa 2 space aircraft from the spinning top-like asteroid contained the nuclear base adrenaline, guanine, costosine, thymine, and uracil. All right, I'm going to get messed up with that. It's hard for me to enunciate sometimes. Um, I didn't take school in school, you know what I mean? but it looks like it formed 4.6 billion years ago when the planets were being born around the infant sun. Wow. So the Ryugu, which I believe, if I remember correctly from what I just looked up earlier, if my memory serves me, short-term memory, that Ryuguru is a word from the East that means House of the Dragon. So I don't know if that has any connection to who discovered the asteroid. If that has, I guess, well, it's Japan, so that makes sense because I just caught this now that it was Japan's spacecraft that retrieved the information about this satellite. So that's pretty cool. That is all the info we're going to report on science today in the sky, the science of the sky. Something to do, something to have some fun, try to get more in the flow. All right, well, thank you, and good night.